heat it up with a hairdryer or a heat gun to soften up the adhesive that holds it together with the entire frame of the phone. So you can do that with a hairdryer or heat gun, or you can set it on a hot plate, which is what I prefer to use. I set it to about 110 degrees Celsius and leave it on there for about a minute or two. One thing that I do suggest is use some kind of gloves that will cover your hands so that you don't get burnt when holding the phone, since it is going to be hot. So once ready, go ahead and grab the phone, touch it, make sure that it's hot to the touch where it burns just a little bit. And we're going to use the suction cup, place it towards the bottom portion of the phone where the charger port is on the back cover. And we're going to wedge up on it gently, pull up on the suction cup until you see a slight opening. Be patient so you don't break the back glass. You may need to give it a little bit more heat. And once you see that slight opening, go ahead and get a plastic prying tool and you can squeeze it in there in between the frame and the glass. It's also useful to use the help of other prying tools as well. So stick one around to go down the other side of the back glass. Once you have the prying tool in there, you can go ahead and remove the suction cup. And I'm going to give it a little bit more heat just because I want to soften up the adhesive a little bit more. There you go. So it's a little bit hotter now. Now the adhesive should be even easier to remove. So we're just going to go down one of the sides here with this prying tool. Just gently go down the entire side. Don't do it too fast so you don't break it. And I'm going to be using the help of another prying tool here as well. And now with this tool, we're going to go down this side of the phone. So continue to go down both sides of the phone with both prying tools. Like I said, take your time, don't rush it so that you don't damage the glass. If you ever need to give it a little bit more heat to soften the adhesive, go ahead and do that. But I think I'm good here, so I'm going to continue going down this side now. And just continue to remove the adhesive. Sometimes you remove it and it gets stuck back again. So just continue to remove all of it and continue to give it a little bit of pressure. There you go. As you can see, the back cover is completely removing up now. Let's go down the top portion of the phone now to remove the final bits of adhesive left up here. And once the top portion is removed now, it looks like all the adhesive is removed. So we can go ahead and gently just give it a little bit of pressure upwards with our fingers, and the back cover will come out completely. And there's your OnePlus 6T back glass cover completely removed. So moving on to the next step, we're going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver, and we're going to remove 10 small Phillips head screws holding down the top bracket here of the top portion of the housing. Once the small Phillips head screws are removed, we're going to lift up this bracket here, which is holding down 2 flex cables. Just lift it up and remove it out of the way. And then now we have access to the battery flex cable, which we need to disconnect, and a cable that connects to the bottom portion charging port. Let's disconnect the battery cable and move it out of the way. And let's disconnect this flex cable next to it. And looks like we have one more small Phillips head screws here with a white sticker on it. Let's remove that. Once that is out of the way, we can use the plastic prying tool to wedge up on this plastic back housing and remove it out of the way. So now let's move on to disconnecting all of the flex cables connected to the motherboard. Let's disconnect this one right here, which connects to the bottom charging port section as well, and this one as well. We're going to have one small Phillips head screw holding down the motherboard right here in the center. Let's remove this. Let's go ahead and disconnect the 2 antennas connected to the motherboard. Let's remove the white one and the black one and move them out of the way. With all the flex cables and antennas disconnected, we can wedge up on the motherboard here with the prying tool. Just gently squeeze in a small gap here and you can pull up on it. We're going to need to also disconnect the front camera, which is still holding it down, and also the small flex cable here that connects to the loudspeaker. So disconnect that and then you can wiggle the motherboard and it will come right out. So let's move on to the bottom portion of the phone here. It's going to have 7 small Phillips head screws that we're going to remove with the screwdriver. So with the screws out of the way, we're going to go ahead and use the prying tool once again to wedge up on the loudspeaker portion here to remove it. It is going to be held down with a little bit of adhesive, but you can pull it right out. So next up, let's go ahead and disconnect all of the flex cables down on the bottom portion motherboard. So this cable right here is for the screen assembly. This one is for the fingerprint scanner. We're going to go ahead and disconnect this cable right here, which connects to the main motherboard. Move them out of the way. Next up, let's remove this white antenna, which connects down here to this portion of motherboard, and pull it out. Then with the prying tool, we can go ahead and wedge under the motherboard here and lift it up gently, and then you can pull it out with your fingers. Next up, let's go ahead and remove the battery. To do this, we're going to need to give it heat once again, but this time on the front section of the phone, on the screen here, so that it can loosen up the adhesive that is holding the battery to the frame of the phone. Once the phone is hot enough, go ahead and grab it. Make sure you don't heat it up too much so you don't damage the LCD if it's not broken. And go ahead and stick a prying tool here in between the frame and the battery, and you can wedge up on it gently and the adhesive will begin to remove. Once most of the adhesive is removed, you can go ahead and grab it with your fingers and gently pull the battery up and remove it from the back frame of the phone. And there's your ONEPlus 6T battery. So this is what your ONEPlus 6T looks like taken apart. Here are all the small parts still left on here. This is the ear speaker. This is the vibrator motor. These right here are the antennas, which connect the top motherboard to the bottom motherboard and around the frame of the phone to receive signal. Here is the charger port, which connects up here to the motherboard up here. This is a cable that connects from the top portion of the motherboard down here to the bottom section here, the section motherboard, which goes right down here. And this cable connects the LED from the bottom portion motherboard right here to the top motherboard. Right here, it connects here, and then from here, it connects all the way up here to the top. And this bottom section loudspeaker right here also has another vibrator motor down here. As you can see, it's that little round piece which connects in here to this bottom section. And here is the fingerprint scanner flex cable. So if what you want to do is replace your screen assembly, you can order a part that looks just like this. It'll be the LCD screen with the frame, and then all you have to do is place all the small parts back onto the frame here, and then put everything that we just took out back together in reverse order. I'm going to have a link down below in the description where you can get the screen for this repair as well. So once all the screws are back in, we are ready to put the back glass back on. Just make sure that the adhesive is on there correctly, that there's no bulges of adhesive. You may want to clean out anything if there is, so that the back glass can stick onto the back frame of the phone correctly and not have any gaps. So go ahead and position the glass correctly. Let's position one corner first, and then from that corner we can kind of line up the rest of the corners. And then once you have them lined up, go ahead and place the whole back glass down and give it some pressure on all sides so that the adhesive glues back onto the frame of the phone. Once you've done that, you're pretty much done. You're ready to go ahead and power your phone on and test it and make sure that the repair was successful. So go ahead and place your SIM card tray back in and you're all done. Alright everyone, so that was just a quick video helping you take apart your ONEPlus 6T so that you can replace your glass LCD screen or battery. Remember, there's going to be links down below in the description for all the parts and tools used in this repair. Go ahead and give this video a like, and that's it for now. I'll see you around in the next video. And as always, peace.